defending champions Miami Heat open up the NBA season against a team LeBron says they, quote, don't like, the Chicago Bulls. The Heat trying to become the first team to three-peat since the Los Angeles Lakers did it over a decade ago. The Heat are also trying to become the first team since the Celtics in the mid-'80s to make it to 4 straight NBA Finals. Seems like a foregone conclusion for some, but let me ask you this, Stephen A. What would keep the Heat from a three-peat?
Well, first of all, first and foremost, an injury of significance to Dwayne Wade. Okay. If Dwayne Wade has to go through what he went through last year, they're not winning the NBA championship. By all accounts, he's been healthy. He's healthy. He's healthier than he's been in years. He worked with Tim Grover during the off season. He's going to be back working with the Heat trainers throughout the season. They've done a lot to fix some of the ailments that he had. It wasn't just his knees. It was his hip. It was his back. It was a lot of different things. So he's much, much better right now. If Greg Oden can give you anything beyond April, I think that's a huge plus because you'll need another big body come to postseason. And obviously the acquisition of Michael Beasley in the offseason after some troubles in Phoenix, I think it's going to help the Miami Heat immensely because you still have Ray Allen and Shane Battier for LeBron James and Mario Chalmers and those boys to dish the ball to. But in that, to answer the question directly, to me, it's a three-headed monster. Brooklyn, Indiana, and Chicago. Pick your poison. The Knicks are on the outside looking in at one of those top 4 seeds, but if they're hitting their three-point shots and Andrea Bugnani matters, then it could be the New York Knicks could sit there and make some noise. But let's be clear. Brooklyn is here to win a championship with KG and Paul Pierce to add to those big three. You'd have a starting 5 with Brook Lopez, Joe Johnson, and Darren Williams, all capable of hitting shots 15 feet and beyond. The way the NBA game is called in this day and age, that makes them incredibly formidable. Derrick Rose has looked fantastic during the preseason. He's a point guard that the Bulls did not have last year, even though I still think they should have kept Nate Robinson, that Energizer bunny that he is. But Derrick Rose is a superstar, and he changes the complexion of the Bulls. You got a guy like Jimmy Butler who played all 48 minutes against the Miami in the playoffs last year. He's 6'7", can defend. You got Taj Gibson. He's 6'9", can defend. You got Joakim Noah. He's 6'11", he can defend. You have Tom Thibodeau, who's the best defensive coach in the game and has proven it time and time again. They'll have a better regular season record than anybody outside of Miami as far as I'm concerned. Then there's Indiana because you've got Roy Hibbert at 7'2". You've got David West. You've got Chris Copeland acquired from the New York Knicks who shot 42% from three-point range. You got Louis Scola. They acquired in the offseason to give you a post presence. You acquired C.J. Watson in the offseason as your backup point guard, even though he and George Hill are not really point guards. They can just score from the point guard position. They may need a point guard, which may give Chicago the edge. I'm not saying this is going to be good enough to beat Miami because if Dwayne Wade is healthy, there's nobody that's beating Miami. But if he's not as healthy, if he's the same guy that he was last year, then any of those 3 teams can beat the Miami Heat in the postseason because they're that formidable and they are coming.
Lord have mercy. You just wrote a book on the Eastern Conference this year. That's unbelievable. You are for this.
That's why you call me Stephen Naismith, baby.
I know.
You know, I'm here.
You just reinvented the entire Eastern Conference. I'm impressed. Now I have one question. Can any of those teams really beat the Heat if they're healthy? Come on, seriously.
No.
Thank you. Okay, so back to Kerry's original question. What can derail the Heat? And to your answer, only 2 things. The 2 knees of one Dwayne Wade. I still, Stephen A., don't completely trust Dwayne's knees. I trust his body to be in the best shape it's ever been in, thanks, as you point out, to the great Tim Grover. And, of course, Dwayne Wade this offseason quit working out just with LeBron, who does a whole different style of workout, and went back to Tim Grover, who I think got Dwayne in superb shape. But there's only so much Tim can do for those 2 knees. They could have some arthritic condition setting in. They might ultimately need a little surgical procedure. He did have the Kobe procedure in the offseason, Dwayne did. Didn't go to Germany for it, but had it. So I think that will help some. But I'm thinking, Stephen A., we are going to see Dwayne Wade turn back into Dwayne Wade, into D. Wade, as in destructive Dwayne, as in maybe not Batman again, but at least I'll go co-Batman with LeBron, which makes the Heat even more invincible this time around. And to all your points, I know you love Indiana and you think they're a legit threat. Stephen A., I feel like Indiana could play Miami. It could go 12 games, and the Heat would win in 12. It's just one of those things where the Heat have LeBron and Dwayne Wade, and the Pacers don't. So I love the Scola addition. He's a shrewd operator down low, and you talk about the muscles, and David West and Hibbert emerged as a real force last year, and Paul George is a quasi-star, but I'm not sure he's a superstar yet. I'll give him star, but not superstar. So I can't make a case that Indiana has that one guy who could put Indiana over the top into the NBA Finals.
Let me explain something to you, Skip, and I get where your point is, but in all seriousness, I think you have to consider something, and you'll appreciate this, because you're the workout guru. You're in shape. You understand what I'm saying? You're in your 60s, you look in your 40s, you feel like you're in your 20s or 30s, for crying out loud. You're better than most, certainly better than me. You've inspired me to get in good shape. You see how I'm looking these days, right? You see how I'm looking. So anyway, here's the deal, Skip. In all seriousness, what you have to consider is the fact that if you're Miami, it's not about the individual team that you have to face. It's the cumulative effect of going against them. If you're Miami and you have to go against Atlanta or Milwaukee in the first round, and then you go up against the Knicks who just want to shoot you out of the place in the second round or whatever the case may be, and you have to face Chicago or Indiana in the conference finals, then Skip, I get where you're coming from. But if there is an issue of potential issue of health in the equation, and somehow, some way you find yourself having to go through Chicago and Indiana, like Miami had to do last year, in order to get back to the NBA Finals, then that changes everything. Because Miami, that was a hard series against Chicago, because Chicago's big, physical, and can defend. They just couldn't score. If you have Derrick Rose, you've acquired Mike Dunleavy Jr., who can shoot, who's an upgrade from Marco Bellinelli, okay? You still have Luol Deng, who didn't play in that last series. I'm saying he didn't play in that last series last year, Skip. So you've got some other pieces, and he can defend as well. Then that's one tough series. Then you're talking about Indiana with their size and the fact that they're disciplined enough, Skip. They know outside of Paul George, they don't view themselves as stars. Their thing is, we're going to beat you up. And if they're going to beat you up, Skip, it gets interesting, because now it's an issue of not just your skill, but your stamina and your toughness. Can you hang with all of that if you are not 100% healthy? That's the question mark, and that's why I think you can't ignore them.
Okay, but as of right now, if we just guess that Miami is going to stay relatively healthy, especially LeBron and to a certain extent Dwayne Wade, you still give the edge to Miami, right?
I give the edge to Miami because of their ability to defend, create steals up-tempo, and Indiana doesn't have a point guard.
Right.
The thing is, Chicago does have a point guard, and that won't work against Derrick Rose. And that's where it gets interesting.
Okay, last question. Are you sure, because I'm not, that Derrick Rose is going to turn right back into Derrick Rose?
Skip Bayless, I'm going to say this to you again. If Derrick Rose is healthy, I believe he will win league MVP.
Nice.
This kid is on another level, Skip. He's on another level. I'm trying to tell you. He's Russell Westbrook with a natural point guard's instinct. Even though he can score, he's a superstar of the highest order, Skip. Derrick Rose is the truth and a half. He is no joke. Trust me on that. Trust me.
Okay, so why don't you just go ahead and pick the Bulls to beat the Heat?
Oh, gosh. He didn't.
Well, seriously.
Because of Dwayne Wade. Because of Dwayne Wade, and because I don't believe they have gotten an addition. Mike Dunleavy with Luol Deng is not enough. You still need that other dude that they don't have to help Derrick Rose in the backcourt scoring-wise from the perimeter.
Stephen A.
That's why.
He gets you all the time with that. You made perfect sense. He's just trying to get you to, he's nagging you. You know how he does.
I'm not sure about the perfect sense.
You don't think he was perfect?
We'll do MVP later.
I always make perfect sense, whether he comprehends it or not.
This is true. Coming up.